So it has been about 3, maybe 4 days since the entire discourse of Wilbur Soot being confirmed as a creep and an abuser to his now ex-girlfriend. And we have now gotten even more information with Wilbur Soot's ex-girlfriend giving her response to not only the apology, but a little bit more of how the internet responded when this entire thing was going down. I'm going to be reading the report. I'm going to be reading the statements that she said on her alt account, and then we're going to be reading the response that she gave to Wilbur Soot's apology, quote unquote. He has been outed and exposed about this. The Serotonin making a report about this saying, I have never seen an apology more self-centered, with a quote being said from Shelby's statement saying Shubble has addressed ex-partner Wilbur Soot's response to abuse accusations. While Shubble never directly named Soot in these allegations, the creator spoke out in a post a few days later saying he quote unquote regrettably became slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish at the end of their relationship. With the account of Shubble saying, if you see a timeline going around trying to disprove me, they base their timeline on an inaccurate assumption of when I last spoke to my ex. Proceed to call me a liar or bad at math for a 30-year-old and then claim they're neutral. Block them and move on. Also, I can't stress enough, don't interact with hidden replies either. I hide them for a reason. Don't engage. And with Shubble responding to Wilbur Soot's apology with 110,000 people liking this tweet, 17,000 people quoting this, and 3,000 people replying to this, with this being her recent tweet to her Twitter account. I've thought a lot about what I would say when I came back. Firstly, I want to say the biggest thank you to everyone showing their support. I have never felt so loved and cared for, and I've never seen so many communities come together to have somebody's back like this. I'm so proud of everyone taking such a powerful stance against these actions. I never could have imagined this response. While I didn't do this for myself, through sharing my story, I have healed more parts of myself I had no idea were still pained. I like to address the apology. Quite frankly, I never seen an apology so self-centered. It seems to purposely misconstrue the issue I very clearly laid out. My issue was not with being bit, it was with being hurt. And to vaguely apologize for quote unquote any hurt while knowing we needed a safe word because I was being hurt so often by accident and I continue to be hurt daily is incredibly disrespectful. But not more disrespectful than not even saying my name. I believe I am referred to as ex-girlfriend, so if you don't know who he's talking about, you might not find out what he did. This is not how you take accountability. Not only are there no DMs whatsoever where it is expressed that I enjoyed being hurt by my partner, to imply there was consent in text over an issue that entirely happened in person, where every conversation about it happened in person, is ridiculous. He knows how often I asked for him to stop hurting me, that I didn't like it, and that I didn't like being covered in bruises all the time. Entirely why he switched to biting my legs, so no one would think I looked bruised. Jesus Christ. But he continued to hurt me. He either didn't take my pleas for it to stop seriously, or he didn't hear them at all. I felt lost for so long, truly losing myself in this relationship. I abandoned my personal morals, neglected friends, and lied for this person. With every time I spoke up being ignored, I shrinked. I lost my fight. I stayed locked in a house I had no key for and didn't even try to leave anymore. People ask why we stay, and it's so hard to explain ourselves because we've abandoned all our reasoning. I wasn't safe anymore with this person, but I couldn't see that. I loved him and he told me he tried to stop hurting me. I'm deeply saddened by how many more friends were hurt by his actions, but I'm so thankful to everyone doing the absolute most in making sure I've been okay over the last few days. Thank you to everyone who's reached out to me. Thank you, hashtag Shubble Support Squad. Every day I read your messages and see your art, and it makes me feel truly like the bravest girl in the world. I think the good that comes out of victims sharing their experiences so others can learn and avoid similar pain or come to terms with ways they were mistreated is the most important thing in this moment. You cannot treat people this way without consequence. You cannot pretend you don't know the harm you cause. You cannot pretend going to therapy fixes all past mistakes. All of the love that's been shared for me over the past few days is for every victim of abuse. Our lives are forever changed by these experiences. I now struggle with memory problems and extreme anxiety, and it may be a while before I feel fully like myself, whoever she is. But I know I have sparked back. please remember how brave and strong you are. We shouldn't be expected to be silent when we were mistreated, when we are mistreated. It's just sad just learning more about the situation from the perspective of Shubble, and Wilbur Soot admitting to this just adds more salt to the wound, and it's just unbearable to take it in. All right, the fact that he's been biting Shubble's legs, okay, to hide the fact that he's been hurting. I'm sorry if you hear rain outside of my recording because it's currently raining outside of my house. I feel like we as men, not just like men, but I feel like also as women, regardless if you're in a relationship or not, should not be treating your partner like this. Wilbur Soot is the last person I would expect to be involved with this controversy that involves with abuse, because when you look at the person, you would think that he's a very nice and gentle guy with a pretty kind spirit. But then when he's now exposed to being an abuser, you lose all faith to him. Now, I don't think that you should stop supporting the people that are part of the Dream SMP that are friends with Wilbur Soot, because to be fair, these people who have unfortunately became friends with Wilbur Soot didn't know about what's behind the lens with the relationship that he and Shubble had together. Once again, I'm sorry about the rain outside of my house. I'm gonna try and speak as loud as I can so you guys can hear me. I really hope that Shubble does recover from this, because I don't think anybody, regardless if you're in a very stable relationship, should ever go through this or should ever go through the pain that Shubble has went through. And if you're going through something like this, you shouldn't be silenced, and you need to be open about how you truly feel with the relationship that you're currently in, if you've been abused that's either similar or entirely different of what Shubble has been through. That's all I have to say for this video. I really do hope that Shubble does recover from this, and I really do hope that everyone who has unfortunately became friends with Wilbur Soot can also recover from unfortunately making a bond with Wilbur Soot for the X amount of years that they have been with him. And hopefully you can move on from the unfortunate truth that you have became friends with Wilbur Soot after finding out about how much of a bad person he is behind the lens.